Today we're looking at the TVC2 line, the vehicles, the creatures and the multi-packs, and there are some big, 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 big pieces to look at. So, what's the total for the TVC2 line? I'll let you all just shout at the screen with your guesses. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mando number 5.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, Mando number 5, and I'm Keith Guppy. Welcome to episode number 30, part 2 of my Star Wars figure focus lines, where we look at all the modern Star Wars produced from 1995, particularly 3.75 inch. And this week is part 2 of TVC 2 line. So I hope you enjoyed last week where we looked at all the figures, and there was hundreds of figures. And as I said before, the TVC 2 line is huge. It's been running since 2018, it's still going strong today. So today we're going to focus on the 2-packs, the action figure sets, the army builder sets, and the vehicles, play sets and beasts. And the vehicles and play sets, there's over nearly 30 different ones released so far. And also we'll have a really good look at the HasLabs, and they are huge. And as always at the end, we'll look at the value of this line. We revealed the figure costs last week. We're going to add in all the vehicle costs, the 2-pack costs, and all of that. And we'll get a grand total of what you'd have to spend currently to get the TVC2 line completely. Although that's a moving feast because they're adding more and more all the time. And then we'll look at what I'd have to spend to complete it as of right now. Now, believe it or not, there is one whole section of TVC2 that I haven't got. And I've just not really been that interested, and that's the builder packs or the army packs. So probably about, I don't know, 2 years ago, Hasbro decided to bring out army builder packs with set figures in multiples of, and they're really, really cool because I know there's a lot of you out there who love army building, and so do I a little bit, but I just haven't got around to getting it. I think the boxes are a little bit drab. They're like a white and black theme, so I just haven't got around to getting them, but I'll list them for you and I'll pop up some pictures. I think there's probably about, I don't know, what are there? There are currently 14, I think, army builder packs. So let's just go through them quickly and I'll pop up some pictures. You've got the X-Wing pilots, you've got the Tusken Raiders, you've got the Stormtroopers, the Shore Troopers, the Rebel Troopers from the Echo Base scene, Rebel Fleet Troopers, 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Troopers, Phase 2 Clone Troopers, Phase 1 Clone Troopers, Imperial Officers, Imperial Death Troopers, Figuring Dan and the Modal Nodes, the band, and then finally you've got Captain Enoch and Thrawn's Night Troopers, and there's probably a couple more reveals on its way. So yeah, 14 or so army builder packs. They range in value anywhere to between 30 and sort of £50, but most of them you can probably pick up for about 35-40 quid. We'll have to wait and see which ones goes up more and which ones go down because they'll vary a little bit, but there you have it. That's all the army builder packs that I still need to get. So in the TVC 2.0 line, Hasbro have carried on the special action figure set theme. They've expanded it now to 4 packs, 3 packs, in slightly different formats as well. They did do a few of the traditional 3 packs, but they've gone to a foiled card back, which are really, really nice. They launched probably over 20 of these, and they're still coming out even now. This is one of my favourites. This is the 501st Legion Art Troopers, a really nice pack. This is graded UKG 90, but really, really pops. These foil car packs, really, really cool. And on the back, I mean, look at that. They look really, really nice. Sorry about the shimmer there, but they are really, really nice packs. Very popular. This one's slowly creeping up in price. It's probably about £80 now. Most of them are between sort of 50 and 80, and there are a couple of exceptions which I'll show you later on. So that's the first of the 3 packs I want to show you, is the Legion Art Troopers. And then another foil pack is the Dr. Aphra set, and you'll notice that we've got the European versions and we've got the main sort of US versions. I think in all of them they did both, but let me know if I'm incorrect, but I believe they did both Troy logo and the single language versions in all of these. But you got Dr. Afra, which is again is a really popular one, probably about £60 or £70. As soon as she comes out into real life media, then that'll probably shoot up. But really unique figures, really love these. And again, on the back you've got the foil scene from a scene from from the comics. But a really, really nice set. Again, that was graded UKG 90, that one. And then you've got I think it's Jedi Destiny Luke set, which is crept up quite a lot in price. I mean, this one now is probably about £60 or £70, but you've got Luke and Stormtrooper X-Wing and then his Jedi Knight version, so quite nice, really nice. I mean, you can see probably better now it's out of the acrylic how these do shimmer, and the cardstock's a little bit thicker, which is a good thing than the normal cardstock. And on the back there, look at that, you've got a fantastic scene of all of Luke's appearances, or some of his appearances in the film, in like a foil colour. Really, really, really nice. Really, really nice. And then you've got one that wasn't a foil pack. You've got the Cave of Evil. And this one again, UKG 90 graded. And what's this one? This one is the Cave of Evil. Yeah, about £50 this one. It's not that popular because you've got those horrible joints on Luke's arms, which are really prevalent if you look inside the packaging, which is a bit of a shame, which puts off a lot of people, which is why probably this one isn't that expensive. But there you go, on the back you've got the scene in Dagobah with him fighting Luke, and then the helmet being hit off and revealing Luke. Yeah, so that's that one, probably about £50 to get that one ungraded. And then finally, a more recent one is the Mandalorian Shrek Hawk figures. Very unusual because it's the first version they've done with the open window with 4 figures. Again, I love this set. This is really popular. This one's probably about £80 now. And I gave one away at my 1,000 subscription winners episode. But it's really, really nice set. And on the back you've got a great picture of some of the Mandalorians on the back. But really, really nice. But it was the first and the only version like this with the open bubble. So there you go. So then you had a series of free packs that were launched. Now, I generally try to get a set of these that I can keep in the box like this, and then a set that I take out and have loose. I can't always do that because it's very expensive, but some of these I have. So this is the first one. This is Jabba's Skiff Guards, a free pack here. And as I said, most of these are worth at least 50 quid. This one, Jedi Skiff Guards, about £65 to get that. And you've normally got a pretty cool scene on the back of these. It's really nice. Most of these figures are unpunched, but some are punched. No, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. A lot of them are unpunched though, which is cool for those of you like your unpunched bits and pieces. So that's that one. Then you've got the Jedi, I think this is Jedi Survivor. Yeah, Jedi Survivor pack, which I think these figures are really, really cool, but they're not that popular. This is probably one of the cheaper sets. You can probably get this for about £50, this set. But I really like the Magna Guard in there, particularly I like. And the card backs are pretty cool on these as well. And on the back, unfortunately, you've got a picture like that. It'd be nicer if they put a bit of a better theme on it, but this is obviously the Grayman Greats series. So about £50 for that pack. And then you've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi series pack. Again, probably about £50, maybe 60. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi Purge Trooper Phase 2 armor, which I really like. I like my troopers, really cool. And then you've got Tika, one of the Jawas. And again, just a bit of a plain back, unfortunately, on this one. So yeah, that's the Obi-Wan Kenobi series pack. Then you've got the 4 packs, so we're getting a little bit bigger here. And you've got the Bad Batch one, which is really cool. Now, I think I would have preferred a 5-pack with all the Bad Batch members in it. I think probably most of you will, but it's a pretty cool pack. Some of these are worth quite a lot of money. I mean, you've got Clone Commander Rex with his soft goods is quite a popular figure. This one now would cost you about £90, maybe £80. You've got Captain Rex, Clone Captain Ballas, Clone Captain Grey, and Elite Squad Trooper. So really, really nice. Really cool card backs within them. And that is what you call a scene, isn't it? Look, you've got like an attack shuttle on the landing platform. A really nice scene for the Bad Batch. I mean, that's really nice. I mean, that'd make a good picture on your wall. But that's really, really nice. So there you go. That's one of the 4 packs. Now, the next 2 4 packs are quite expensive to buy, actually. They're probably the most expensive ones you can get at the moment. The first one is from the Clone Wars, and you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I've opened this one up, and I haven't got a second one. So I'll pop up a picture with the figures in it. But this one's got Ahsoka Tano, R7A7, CH33P, which is cheap, and then RGG1 or GG from the Clone Wars series. And on the back, you've got a really cool picture. You've got Ahsoka Tano, and the Ahsoka Tano in this one, I can't remember the VC number, but that is a different backing cards. There are 2 versions of that VC number, and there you've got the 3 droids, as I mentioned. So really nice set. That set now would probably cost you about about £90. So a bit more expensive, and there's obviously 4 figures in there. And there you go. So that's that set. And the last set, and again I'll put a picture up, is probably the most expensive one, which has gone a little bit mad, is Jabba's Denizens. This set now is probably about £110–120. The figures individually probably would cost you, £40. Some of these. You've got Riri's, Tessek, Velkan Tazera, and Tame Dren Garen. And these are very unique. Some of these haven't been produced ever before in the modern Star Wars collecting lines, which is probably why they're quite expensive. And on the back, you've got a cracking scene of the sail barge with a skiff there on the back. So that's probably the most expensive at about probably £110, £120, and still creeping up. That one. And then they did 4 double packs. Here they are, and you'll see that they've got some really cool artwork on the end of each one. You've got some really cool artwork on these. The first pack I'll look at is the Ewoks cartoon pack. Quite odd why they decided to do a double pack of cartoon Ewoks. But yeah, so you've got Wicket, and I think it's Alicia. Is it Alicia? Kanisa. That's cool. Yeah, sorry. So you got the pictures on each side. Really nice double pack. I wish I'd do some more Ewoks. I really like those. And we had a close look at those at our last episode. All these double packs are about 45-ish quid. So they're quite easy to get a hold of. And again, I try to get the double pack, and I get the single figures as well, just to display in my carded section. So that's the first one. So yeah, I'll just show you. So they must have, on the other ends they've got the other figures, which is really cool. So again, in no particular order, you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi showdown with Darth Vader. Very popular figures, especially the Darth Vader one with the mask that's been damaged. And there they are. They're the figures on the back. 2 really nice figures actually. And this one's probably £45 if you want to get in now. That double pack. And then you've got the Rebels one, which has become very, very popular because of the Ghost launch. Everyone wants to complete the 6 cards by getting these 2. So it's fluctuated quite a lot. I mean, I think now it's probably down to about £60 again. But it did go up to about sort of 80 or so for a while, where everyone was clamouring for these. And they're the 2 figures in the background. But yeah, nice set, and one you really need if you want to get the whole Rebels line, because the card backs do follow the exact theme from the 4 in the HasLab Ghost. And then probably my favourite, and because I love Raven, is this one, Jedi Knight Raven from the Galaxy of Heroes set. And you've got the HK-47 droid, and then you've got Raven in his Jedi Knight pose, not the Sith pose. And there you go on the back. But that card is really, really nice, and I'm surprised it's not worth more than it is. Again, you can probably pick this up for £45 on eBay right now. So there you go. That's all the double packs and special action figure packs. As always, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and keep putting in those comments. So let's look at the creatures, the play sets, the vehicles. And I thought long and hard how I'm going to do this, but I don't think there's any real order or rhyme or reason. I'll try to go small and then maybe get a little bit bigger. And we'll look at the HasLabs right at the end. But a lot of the sets that they produce in TV2 line have got pack-in cards, which you probably all know. Now, generally, I would suggest the pack-in cards probably have got a premium of 10 or 20%, maybe even more, on the general normal line, because they're a little bit more difficult to get hold of. A lot of people buy these pack-in sets. They sell the figures, or the beasts or the ships or whatever it is separately and keep the figures, which is fair enough. So in no particular order, let's just whittle through them. There's about 30 to go through, and as I said, we'll slowly get bigger and bigger. So let's start with the Mandalorian Avara 7 double pack with a blurg. People have been waiting for a blurg for a long time. This is quite a recent release. I'm really surprised how heavy this is. I don't open stuff, but I would imagine that blurg is quite heavy. Pretty cool pack. There it is on the back. Nice picture. And there's Mando on the blurg on the back in terms of the card back. So quite a nice figure. Probably about £40 if you want to get that right now. And then they produced 2 speeder bikes very closely together, actually, probably within a period of a couple of months. People were clamouring for the classic Return of the Jedi speeder bike, which we got finally with a stand. And then you had the pack-in of the classic speeder bike and the same picture as you had in the original vintage line. People were clamouring for this. So that now was probably £45, maybe £50 to get. It was part of the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi spout of things we had, and we'll see some more of those a bit later on. And then, as I said, at the same time they produced a very similar version. It's a speeder bike Scout Trooper with Grogu, again about £45 with a pack-in, so a slightly different speeder biker, Scout Trooper, and there you had Grogu in his little bag from the scene you see in into Mandalorian. The speeder bike, which has obviously got the different camo details on it, and then you had the biker Scout, which is got a bit of a sort of grey sandy marks on him. So again, about £45 for that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, they've released 3 X-Wings. Now, if you want to see a bit more about X-Wings, please look at my Mando's Best episodes. I think it's about episode number 2 or 3, where I go into all the X-Wings released and the modern Star Wars lines. And I can't remember now, I think there's about 10 or 15 of them. So we went through all those in a bit of detail. So here's one of them. It's Luke's X-Wing. We've been clamouring for this one for quite a few years. The picture's the same on the back, so I won't go into too much detail. But that would probably cost you now about £80 or £90. They lingered around at retail for a long time, and you can get them as cheap as sort of £45 maybe a year ago. But now they are climbing. I expect that in a year's time that'll be £100 plus. So that was that one. And then a real favourite for everyone from Rogue One was Anton Merrick's X-Wing Starfighter. Absolutely lovely to see this in blue. Really like this. And the pack-in Anton Merrick is probably still a £50 figure even now. It was even more when it first came out. But that there would probably cost you probably about what, about £100. Maybe look at my list. No, about £80-90 now. Anton Merrick's X-Wing. And then another favourite of mine, which has gone a bit bonkers in price, is Poe Dameron's X-Wing Fighter. And it's the orange and light grey effect version, which is really nice, really different from all the other X-Wings, which is probably why it's so popular. There was another version, I think, in I think it was the Rogue One line, or it might even be the Force Awakens line, but this is the premium version, if you like. That one now is probably going to cost you £120 plus. The Rise of Skywalker X-Wing has really gone up in price. So that's the 3 X-Wings that they've launched in the TVC2 line. Quickly, I want to mention something that's quite unique, is this, the Emperor's Throne Room. Now, this in itself is quite basic. It's just a throne room. I'll put a picture up and you've got the window in the background, no figures included. Sorry, you do get the Emperor included, but you don't get Luke and Darth Vader. So it's quite a nice set, but they also did a NFC Norris Force Con 6 2022 version with a different sleeve, or an additional sleeve, which is worth a lot of money. This in itself is probably worth, I don't know, £40 or £50. I'll just check on my list. Yeah, probably about maybe £50. But the exclusive one, the sleeve, is worth probably a couple hundred, even more. There's not really data set. I don't know how many were available. I've seen a couple of them. I think Tim from Boss Bounty's got one. They're very, very rare. I don't think many have got sold on eBay at all, so no one really knows what they're worth. But you know, if it was me with additional sleeve and exclusivity, I'd probably be looking to pay £150, £200 maybe. But it just depends where they leak into the market. So that's just an interesting one I want to show you. And then another set that they did, a bit unusual, was the rescue set from the Mandalorian. I don't think there's anything too exclusive here. You've got all these figures that's shown on the front, but with the Dark Trooper you do get some additional flame effects, and potentially that flame effects might be exclusive. But those of you out there are probably knowing a bit more, you know, would know than I would. But it's a nice set if you want to recreate that scene. And that rescue set would probably cost you about £50 currently. And then carrying on the theme of play sets, and this is where Hasbro have really learnt their lessons, and they've done some really cool play sets in the TVC2 line. Most of the smaller sets are between sort of £40 and £70, but they have produced one beast of a play set, which I'll come to in a minute. The first one we look at is a Navarro Cantina. One of the earlier sets from the Mandalorian. You get the Pac-In Imperial Death Trooper. It's quite a cool little bar scene, and it was probably one of the earliest where they've got like a backdrop of a scene, a cutaway from a building. Yeah, and then you get quite a few bits in there. You get the drinks and the bar and stuff like that. That one there though is pretty cheap now. I think you can probably pick that up for about £40. And then much more recently, you've had the Jabba the Hutt action figure playset, which is a real cool throwback to the vintage version. But what's really interesting, people, in this, you get the Slash's Crumb, which is from the SDCC a Death Star playset, which is up till now that figure would have been £600, £700, £800 loose, and they brought out a different version, which is slightly different in bits and pieces, but it fills that gap for collectors who couldn't get it. And then you get the 8D8 again, which is the first time they produced that. So this set here now is probably running at about £125, £130, particularly because those two figures alone could be £80, £90 to get. So that's quite a nice set, and a new set that's just come out, and there are all the bits and pieces. You get a lot of cushions in his throne stand and the pot and bits and pieces. So a really nice little play set, quite a compact, nice little play set there. And then you had, going back a couple of years now, you had the Tantive 5 corridor set from the start of A New Hope. Really cool set. You can bolt this on and make bigger sections of it. My hope one day that they'll produce a Tantive 5 ship, which you can just build and have big sections. I mentioned that to Steve from Hasbro when I saw him earlier in the year, and he kind of smiled at me, and I did say, yeah, it'll probably be about 15 foot long and overall, but I mean, you imagine that'd be amazing. But anyway, this set came out a few years ago. It's got the Pac-In Rogue Rebel Fleet Trooper, and that one would probably cost you about £50 now. But a really cool set, and there on the top, look, you can see how you can add the bits on to make the corridors and stuff, which I'm sure a lot of you have done already. Yeah, I mean, there we go. Forbidden Planet retail was $39.99, so these haven't really gone up in a lot of money, really. And then you had a really classic scene from The Empire Strikes Back, the carbon freezing chamber scene. I think probably only the second version of this. The other version was in the Power of the Jedi line. And again, you can add this on. You can double this up, so you make half of it with this set, and then you can have the other half to make the full set. And there you are. There's a complete set on top, which is really quite cool and makes a really nice scene. With this, you get an Empire Strikes Back, a Pac-In Stormtrooper. This set now would probably cost you, what have we got? Probably cost about £60 if you want to get it now. So these haven't really gone up in a massive amount of money on the secondary market, really. And then the Endor bunker, a really popular version. The only Endor bunker they've done since one done the Power Force 2 line 27 or whatever years ago. So really popular. You get a really cool bunker with opening doors, and then you get the exclusive Endor Rebel Commando in disguise, which is people have been clamoring out for many a years. Is it Rex? Is it not? Who knows? There you go. There's the doors on the front that open and shut. You can hide in the corner there, just like you did in the film. But a really nice set, really popular. And the Endor bunker set now, probably again, that's quite a popular figure, so probably £50-60. They do vary. Again, another one they released in the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi. And then you've got Jabba's Palace set. Now this has gone a bit bonkers in the last few years. You could quite readily get this for £30-40 for quite a while, and then because of the Jabba's Palace set, the Boba Fett throne room, which we'll look in a minute, people are all after this figure here in particular, Han Solo in carbonite. This set now is going to cost you probably £100-120, so it's gone really mad. It did go up to about 150-160. I was seeing him sell it for a little while ago. So really mad. Really nice set. You can display your Han in carbonite there. You've got the Tauntaun head and stuff like that. A really nice piece. Looks really nice. And as I said, you get the two backings, Riri's and Han in carbonite. So probably 120 quid to get that right now. And then finally, they really went to town with this one. I'll see if I can fit in screen. Yes, I can. There you go. This is huge. There you go. That's an ordinary figure, so you can see how big this box is. And this is Boba Fett's throne room from Boba Fett series, the Book of Boba Fett. And it's got the Fat Bib Fortuna, which you see get killed by Boba Fett in the series. But it's an amazing set. Now this probably would cost you £200 plus, maybe £250 right now. Really huge set. It's got so much inside it, and I'll spin it around. Hopefully we can see a bit more detail of what's inside it. But it's a huge set. For me, this could have been possibly a HasLab set. I mean, if they'd added in a Rancor and maybe a dungeon or something, then this could have been a HasLab set for me. But a huge set. I mean, look at the end there. Look what you get. There are hundreds and hundreds of little pieces. The throne room, the main bit, the backing, the spit, all these tables and chairs and bits and pieces. I mean, God knows how many bits there are included, but it's a huge set. And it does come with the exclusive Fat Bob Fortuna from Tatooine. And that figure there is selling for about £80. So, you know, it's a really nice set. And I'll just show you some of the pictures from the top if I can. There you go. Look, all the bits you get. I mean, that's really cool. You get the spit with the whatever it is. You get C-3PO head on the tray there. You know, what a set. It's a really nice set and loads of playability. One of my favourite sets. I'm really glad I got it because I didn't get it for quite a while, but a really nice set to round off all the play sets they've done in the TVC2 line. And there are two play sets I haven't got yet, and that's the Armourer's Forge, which comes with the Armourer, which is about, I don't know, £40 or £50. And then there's also the new one, which is the Streets of Mos Eisley. That's I haven't got either. And then in terms of reveals, yeah, nothing. But yeah, so there's a couple I haven't got yet. So let's move on to the vehicles and ships of the line. And they produced two ATSTs. More recently, this one to celebrate the 40th Return of the Jedi anniversary, which comes with the Chewbacca from the classic scene. And yeah, there's two of these. And if you want to see more of these, I did in my Mando's Best series. I've done a real good analysis of all the ATSTs launched or released over the years. That one here, you'd probably have to spend about £70, maybe £80 to get that. But it's pretty cool. It's got a nice scene on the top with in battling stormtroopers. But yeah, and that's obviously the bigger version that was changed. It was changed to the bigger version a number of years ago. And then probably my favourite though, because I love the colour scheme. This is the ATST Raider from that episode of The Mandalorian. It's got the Clatoonian Raider, which was later released on a card, but I love the paintwork on this ATST. It's really, really nice. I think it's quite underrated. It's got some really nice colour paintwork on it, around the front and on the legs, which I love. It's got the cargo net underneath, a bit of camouflage, soft goods camouflage. But one of my favourite ATSTs, or probably my favourite ATST ever launched. Again, that one there would probably cost you about £70 currently on the market. Then to accompany, obviously, the main sail barge, HasLab, they had to release a Tatooine skiff. Surprisingly or not, there was no packing. This was obviously one of the early vehicles. But, you know, a classic re-release of the Power of the Force original line desert skiff, which is very, very, very hard to get a hold of. This one now, even this one here, is probably about... So I've seen it for sort of £70-80, maybe even more. So those seem to be going up in price. But no pack-ins, but it does come on a nice clear stand. That's that one. Then one it is rocketed in price. You've got the Imperial Combat Assault Tank from Rogue One. This is really sought after. We all know the commander and the driver. The commander alone is probably 80-90 quid. The driver is probably £60. But the tank now is probably, probably 80, 90, maybe even more than that. It's pretty cool. It's got some unique sort of cargo bits. You can get 3 drivers or commanders in there. It's a really unique vehicle, a really popular vehicle. And as I said, that price of this is going up and up and up. Then you've got the N1 Starfighter. The classic version of the classic yellow version, if you like. You did a pack-in, you get a Mandalorian pack-in. He comes with the figure, obviously, a stand, and the detail of this ship is really, really nice. And you get a little Grogu to go in the bubble at the back. Really, really nice ship. This went down in price for a while, went down to sort of £60, but now it's climbed back up to sort of around the £100 mark. So a really, really nice ship. It's one of the few ships I've got on display in my room because it looks really cool on the stand. You can tilt it. A really, really nice ship to have. And then right at the start of the line, they produced what we all wanted, and that was a big wing TIE fighter. In the TVC1 line years ago, 2010, they produced a little stumpy wing one, but they eventually got round to issuing the bigger wing one, and you got a loose Imperial TIE fighter pilot as well with this. So it's one of the earliest pack-ins. The classic Star Wars scene. It was an exclusive Walmart release, but a really nice box, really nice sort of background. But yeah, very popular. That TIE fighter now would probably cost you maybe £80-90 to get hold of in good condition. And then lastly, before we move on to the HasLabs, I want to look at the Slave Ones, or Boba Fett's ship, Boo, and just mention that I am missing the Imperial Troop Transport. I think I've got him somewhere, but he's gone up to about £100 now. I'll pop up a picture, but I think I've got him somewhere. I just couldn't find him. So let's have a quick look at the Slave Ones. So the TVC line has now produced 3 Slave Ones, which has kind of dulled the value of them a little bit, in my opinion. You had the original Amazon exclusive from TVC1 line, which is really, really nice, and it came in the white mailer box. And then in the TVC2 line, they've re-released it, different style box, but this time it has got a stand with it, so it displays really, really nicely. And again, that's one ship that I wouldn't mind getting in terms of displaying it and opening it up. All these same features. The price of these did plummet quite a bit, but now you can probably get one for about £90 on eBay right now, maybe £95, but they are creeping back up. They were around at retail for an awfully long time. And then, sadly, we all went a bit mad, and we can no longer call it a slave one ship, it has to be Boba Fett's starship, which is for me a bit nuts. But anyways, again on the stand, a slightly different paint scheme. You did get the exclusive Boba Fett figure inside. Again, this ship again is about £100 now. But yeah, pretty much all the same features, just a re-engineered launch of the other two, really. So, ladies and gentlemen, no surprise, I've had to come downstairs to look at these huge vehicles, some HasLabs and the Millennium Falcon from Smuggler's Run. So, in terms of HasLabs, obviously, there's been the Katana, the Ghost, and the Razor Crest. Yeah, I haven't got a Razor Crest right now. I need to get one again. I did have a couple, sold them, but I need to get one. So that's missing, but I'll pop up a picture. I think we all know what it looked like. But, you know, the Katana was launched in 2018. And in terms of backers, it had just 8,800. To get one now, £2,000 at least. From a retail price of just $499. So that has gone bonkers, that one. And it's a huge, huge piece. Gorgeous piece. The best playset you can get. Amazing. And then more recently, you've had the Ghost. That had 21,000 backers. So a lot more. And that was, the backing was closed in 2023, but we only received these a couple of months ago. They're just about hitting retail. So that was $499, the Ghost. And at the moment, you can probably get one for about 500. So they just sort of hovered at retail, maybe because there's so many of them, and maybe because for me to post that in the UK, I'm looking at about £80. So, you know, huge, heavy pieces. I think everyone was surprised how big the box was to sell it on the secondary market. And then the Razor Crest had 28,000 backers at retail $349. But now the Razor Crest has started to peak a little bit. So you probably get one for about £550 or dollars. It's about the same either way. So that's recovered a bit. And then lastly, the Smuggler's Run Falcon. It's not a HasLab, but it's an absolutely gorgeous piece. I picked this up recently. Get one of those. You're probably talking £500-600 mint in a box. But a really, really nice set. And again, check out my Mando's Best episode where I look at all the Millennium Falcons. I think that was episode number 1 I did a few weeks ago. But check that out because that's a really cool episode. So there you go. That's the HasLabs. We all know about the packings. I showed those last week. You've obviously got the Cantina, which will be delivered probably in the autumn of this year. And that's got, I think it's got 5 packings. It's got Waher, it's got Greedo, the Tonica Sisters, and Nubrid Leeds, I think, in terms of the packings on that. And there was 2 versions of that, $399 or $499. But there you go. So that's the HasLabs. I do love them. Some people don't, but I do. And may they continue. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of stuff to go through today. It is a huge line, extremely popular. But we've come to the time where let me tell you how much you'd have to spend to get the whole TVC 2.0 line right now. And as you'll see, there is at least, I think, about £1,500 worth of stuff pipelined to come out, including the Cantina. So just to recap, last week we went through all the figures and deluxe stuff, deluxe figures, and we came to just over £6,015 to get all that. So let's look at the breakdown of what I've gone through in today's episode. So we've got the Army Builder packs. There are about 14 of those, about £35 each. That's probably a little bit reserved. Some of those are worth more now. So at least £490 to get those sets. Then we've got the double packs. 4 of those, I think about £170 at about £42.50p each on average for those. Then we've got the special action figure sets, and there are 13 of those. And I think you'd have to spend about £875, which gives you quite a high figure of £67 and 131p to get all of those. And then we come to the huge HasLabs. And as we know, there's 3 of them: the Razor Crest, the Katana, and the Ghost. With the Katana coming in at least £2,000 now to buy on the secondary market. So all of those together, I reckon you'd have to spend about £3,100, an average of £1,033. Then all the vehicles and playsets, there's 29 of them currently, but that's growing all the time. So this figure will soon get outdated. But at the moment, you'd have to spend about £2,719 at an average of £93.70. That's a huge amount, a massive amount, and probably higher than any other average for any other figure line I've done for sure. So, for this week's episode, what does that give you? A whopping £6,314 for the vehicles, playsets, and HasLabs I've shown you today. I did miss out the E-Wing, which I haven't got, which is probably, it's gone bonkers as well. That's up to about £140 now. I'll pop up a little picture because I did forget that. So, what's a total for the TVC2 line? I'll let you all just shout at the screen with your guesses. Yes, £13,359. Wow, that is a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. I think the second ever highest line was maybe TVC1, obviously, and then it was probably the Dark Skies, or maybe the Clone Wars lines. I will do a series summary towards the end, which is probably be 2 or 3 weeks, where we go through all the numbers I've done for all the 35 episodes I've done. But for now, TVC 2.0, £13,359. And for the stuff I need at least spend at least £1,000. I reckon about £1,079 to date. But there are pipelines already out there. And I think there's at least £1,500 worth of stuff that we haven't got our hands on yet. The Cantina for one. There's at least a dozen pipeline figures. Many haven't got VC numbers yet, but they will very soon. So, already I think you're probably, if you want to get everything in 6 months' time or a year's time, you're going to have to spend at least 15 grand, £15,000, or what is that in dollars? 18, maybe $19,000 to get the whole TVC 2.0 line. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a big one, I'm afraid. And I'll see you again soon. But thanks for watching. Bye-bye.